We're on. Hey folks, this is Graham Brown. This is Pitchdeck Asia. We showcase some of the best and most exciting startups throughout Asia, based here in Singapore today. Welcoming to the virtual studio, Mandy Chan from BOW. Mandy, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. Nice to meet you guys.
It's nice to have you here. We're going to talk about the BOW journey. Are
Mm.
you a sporty person in particular? What's the background? How did you get into this space, sports and travel?
Surprisingly, I was not really a sports person. Starting up, our first product was actually a gym bag. That only came about because I used to go to a gym and always leave my toiletries back in the shower, and I'll always forget it. That's why I
Right.
came up with this product. Yeah.
Okay, so that was your first product.
Mm.
Interestingly, I was just looking at your backstory. Before we talk about BOW,
Mm.
how old were you when you started your first business?
So I was about 19,
19.
kind of, yeah, fresh out of college, junior
Fresh out of
college.
college. You hadn't even
Yeah,
gone to university yet, right?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't often get here in Singapore, and it's refreshing to see somebody so
Mm.
young starting a business. Why did you start a business at such a young age? Usually people wait till they're later or they go through an accelerator scheme
Mm.
or maybe they drop out as a corporate dropout in their 30s and 40s. But you're an exception
Midlife
in that
crisis,
case.
right?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
your story? How did you get such an early start?
Mm, I would say like I've always been interested in starting my own business. So starting from like primary school, elementary school. So I started selling like marshmallows to my friends, not knowing that I actually made a loss because my parents bought it for far more expensive. And I was like, yeah. So I started from there, and I was like really interested in the whole business scene. And then it was until when I graduated from junior college, I actually interned in three different startups, namely Selfo, an edtech startup, Hello Done, an accounting startup, and one more, the living room. So three different startups, and I realized that after these three startups, I was really interested in the whole starting up your own business thing because I could see like the passion of the founders. You know, when they went to work, how it's so different from when my dad went to work, where it's like 9 to 5, and you see the deadness in his eyes. You know, so that was really refreshing, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about that. So
Your first
that's
product
how I
was a
started.
bag, and
Yeah,
how did you get that off the ground? How did you turn
Mhm.
that idea into a reality?
Um, so at 19, you don't really have a lot of money. So that's where all the street surveys came when I asked people like what they thought about the product, making prototypes out of like cardboard boxes from FairPrice, from like mini marts, because it was really expensive. And Singapore didn't really have any prototyping services at that point of time, or at least I didn't know about it. Yeah, so it kind of started from there. And I think one point to answer the question just now of like why I started so early was also because like um, I believe in this thing called like minimal regret. It's something close to what the Amazon CEO like Jeff Bezos used to say about how you don't want to live your life with any regrets. So you just do the things that cause you the minimal regret, something like that, a minimal regret kind of approach to life, and I believe in that. So that's when I decided to take a leap of faith and take a gap year from school. Yeah.
Mm. And did you go back to school?
So the deal with my parents was that after a year of startup, I was supposed to earn like a graduate's pay, and if you didn't, I had to go back to school. So at that point of time, I wasn't earning like a graduate's pay, so I had to go back to school. And currently, I'm about to graduate actually,
Hmm.
like this year. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, well, let's have a look at the market you're in at the moment. If we can flash up the pitch deck, and bearing in mind that not everybody can see what we're looking at on the video, so we might have to be descriptive. If we can get the BOW pitch deck up on the screen and go to slide 5, this is the market slide, essentially to give us an understanding of the market we're
Mm,
in here.
mm.
So you talk about the total available market, serviceable market, and then target market. How do you define the market you're in?
For us, we actually look at the sports and travel bags industry specifically. So definitely looking at people who are in the bag industry, and yeah, sort of those players out there.
Mm. Yeah, it's
Mm.
extremely competitive, isn't it? Because I imagine everybody on Alibaba has a bag. How are you competing in that market? How are you maintaining margins?
um, for us, like we believe in having our own designs, so that's one factor that kind of I think would be in our control, because rather than what you see in Alibaba and all that, which are like, just normal bags and you just slap your logo on it. For us, we come out with our designs by ourselves, and that's we put our own spin on it. So that's one of the things. And I think another thing is like community building. That's another thing that we use to stand out from the rest of the people. So we build like a cult-like kind of branding and culture within our tribe, engaging them and making sure that we remain connected to them. I think that's like one factor that no matter how much you copy our bag, there's something that people can't copy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I'll ask you about that in a minute, how you actually
Yeah.
do that, because that's easier said than done.
Definitely.
You've got a good understanding of the tribe that you're communicating with. That's a great start. Maybe we can go back to the beginning. If we can look at slide 3, the solution here, which is probably where it all starts, the pain point. Help us understand this. What is the problem? If we look at slides before that, slides 2 and 3, the problem and the solution. What is the problem in the market that you're trying to solve? It's not surely that there isn't or there aren't enough bags.
Yeah, definitely.
Something else, right? What are you solving as the problem?
Yeah. So I think what we are solving is basically catering gears to the modern lifestyle. So let's think about a day in your life. So you go to the gym in the morning, and then you go to work, you meet your friends for dinner. You might even take a flight, at night to go to a nearby country for work. So the current lifestyle that we have right now is very different from what it used to be. What it used to be was like 9 to 5, you go home, that's it. But right now, because of globalization, because of like how fast-paced our lifestyles has become, that we squeeze a lot of activities into one day. And that's where our gears come into play, because instead of bringing multiple bags, where you kind of forget where your wallet is, we actually put everything into one bag and one gear. So that's where we want to solve the problem of that. Yeah.
And how do you do that? Is that just providing different compartments in the bag, or what?
Not really. So other than different compartments, that's one thing. Another thing is to envisage how the lifestyle of the people are, and catering like suitable materials for them to last for the entire day, and making sure that it's durable, which means that you don't have to switch your bag after like 2 months of using it, because we actually provide a lifetime warranty for all our products.
Yeah, you've got you've got your products here. Let's have a look at some of them so we can get an understanding.
Yeah.
There's a slide here with 2 of your products. Obviously, one that's coming up. We're going to talk about the shirt and the Kickstarter campaign. Your bag, Quiver, is that right? Tell us about the idea.
I actually have the real one with me right now.
Okay, can you show us on the screen?
Yeah, sure. Give me a minute.
Right. We'll have to describe this for those that are listening on the podcast version. Mandy's going to go and grab the Quiver bag. You can have a look at it. Right, so this is the all-in-one gym and travel bag. What have we got here?
So this is Quiver.
Can you hold it up so we can see it on the screen?
Yeah, sure. So this is Quiver. Not sure if you guys can see.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. So on the outside, it might look like a really normal bag, right? Nothing special. But the real beauty lies in the inside. So let's talk about, if you're heading to the gym. And the front compartment here is actually where you can slot in your shoes. You can put in like a size 14 shoe, whatever. And there's actually ventilation holes to make sure it's breathable. But the thing is that another thing that you need after you gym is that you sweat, right? And you wanna shower. So we actually have this compartment right here where you can actually put in like your clothes and your toiletries here. And if you want to listen to music in the shower, or like answer a phone call, answer a FaceTime, who knows, you can actually put your phone here. Zip it up so it's waterproof, and you can actually use your phone from here. Yeah. So these are some of the details.
How much will that cost? How much does the Quiver cost retail?
This is $97, and it comes with a strap, and you can actually add another strap to make it a backpack. So this is the smaller version one, and we actually have a bigger version called the Quiver X. That is something that we launched on Kickstarter about 2 years ago. Yeah, in November actually.
Okay. Tell us about your experience with Kickstarter. It's an interesting model for raising, I guess, more than just raising funds. It's about building a fan base, isn't it, for your product? And I've heard, obviously, the Kickstarter market has evolved quite distinctly in the last 5 years, where I think what people started off doing Kickstarter and where it is now is quite different. So how's your experience been on Kickstarter, especially with the last campaign?
So we have had two Kickstarter campaigns so far, one for Quiver and one for Quiver X, and our experience has been pretty great actually. Especially with the first one where we didn't know whether the product was even whether the market would be receptive to it, because what Kickstarter provides, which I think other platform doesn't really provide, is a supportive fan base of international people. So sometimes you want to test in a simple market and it's really easy, right? You can just put it in the stores, but you don't know whether it will work in overseas. And a lot of overseas distributors, they will be also really scared to take on your products because
Mm,
number one, the shipping fee is really expensive, and number two, they have to pay upfront for the wholesale cost. So Kickstarter enables them to actually see whether the product is in demand for their country, and from there they can actually reach out to us directly. So
mm.
our experiences there has been really great because it allowed us to actually connect with a lot of international distributors, um, whom we don't have to cold call and cold email, which used to be the norm. And now it's like people reaching out to us because they can see how much in demand our products are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for a distributor, they can actually go to Kickstarter and find products which already have a ready-made demand, which for them
yeah,
really reduces
definitely.
the risk, doesn't it, of finding the
Definitely.
right products. Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of numbers did you get on Kickstarter with the two campaigns? I imagine the first one, if you didn't really know what you were doing so much, anything was
Yeah.
a bonus, right? How
Yeah,
did you get on?
exactly. So we actually were just aiming for $15,000, which was actually like the bare minimum we need to hit the MOQ, the minimum order quantity from our product. And then we did about $64,000, which is about 4 times of our original goal. So that was kind of crazy because like
Mm,
we didn't expect people from like US and like from Egypt would buy it. And then with the second one, we were a little bit more confident, right? But still keeping our estimates really conservative. So we aim again for $15,000, and this time around we got about $74,000. So that was kind of like a $10,000 increase, which
mm, mm.
yeah, was quite interesting as well. Mm.
How do you service that? I guess that's a challenge, isn't it? I mean, if you're going to get an
Mm.
order of, if you're going to do 130,000 plus dollars worth of business on Kickstarter, now you have to service it, and
Yeah,
I guess it's quite lumpy as well, isn't it? Like you've
it
got to
is.
service it within a certain time. I'm not sure how it works.
Mm, mm.
You must be able to fulfill the order within a certain period, otherwise you effectively lose your fans, right?
Yeah.
Does that create another problem? The fact that you've now done $65,000 worth of business, you now
Mm.
have to distribute a lot of bags.
Yes and no. So like at first we didn't really know what was going on. So we packed everything ourselves because we wanted to save on the packing fees. And you must imagine the horror that it was like, did we send it to Susie? No. Then after that, like
Mm,
we have like the whole team and like shit, where's Susie and all that, trying to dig through the parcels. And then that was when we realized that okay, we kind of screwed up and we had to look for professionals. So I think it was a learning journey for that. And in terms of like meeting the deadlines and everything, thankfully our the factory that we are working with, we have a good working relationship with them, and therefore in terms of meeting deadlines and stuff, I think we're pretty confident of that,
mm.
thankfully. Yeah.
What did you learn, like
Mm.
from Kickstarter 1 to Kickstarter 2? Now you're a bit more seasoned going into
Yeah.
number 2. How
Yeah.
did you do it differently?
Definitely, I think we focus a lot more on pre-launch. So, like for any startups out there, right, especially people who are looking to kickstart their project, the pre-launch I would say is actually more important than the actual launch date,
Mm,
because that's when you actually build hype over your product and you have a lot of people in your email list. And EDM is actually one of the highest converting marketing tool, right? And that is where a lot of attention was paid to the second one compared to the first one. And I think in terms of like the production value of the videos or the photos, instead of filming it ourselves, we actually gave it to professionals this time around. And thirdly, I think didn't do the logistics for ourselves, by
mm.
ourselves for the second round. Yeah.
So obviously you had a success with Kickstarter, and you're
Mm,
talking about building up your fan base. We're moving to this point about talking about how you do your marketing, because I imagine for you to sell at a margin, you have to build a brand. Tell us how you've built a community or a tribe around your bag on
mm.
Kickstarter. What things worked for you?
Mm, I think one of it was actually offline events that we can't really have now, but offline events. So every month we will have this bro tribe gathering, and the idea behind it was, you don't know where we are going. You're just gonna sign up, and then once you sign up, we're gonna tell you the day before where it's gonna be and what things to bring, and that's it. And during the session itself, it's something totally new. So we range from like yoga, heat yoga, to like rock climbing and all that. And the whole idea behind it is to like enforce the whole be bold mantra that our brand is known for. So you don't know what you are in, just take a leap of faith and like just experience life with us. So we have
Wait,
seen
well,
quite
how
a
does that happen? I get
yeah.
told about this mystery event,
Yeah, it's like a
bold
mystery event
event,
actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is, but I'm turning up,
Yeah.
and then you're going to do something crazy
It,
like
yeah.
rock climbing or yoga.
Yeah, correct. So we don't tell you exactly what you're doing. We don't tell you the activity. We just say where to go. But for some places, it's more obvious, like rock climbing, because there's only a few rock climbing places in Singapore, right? But yeah, so the idea behind it is like you don't know where you're going, just trust us. Trust that it's gonna be
Right.
fun, and just be bold and do it.
Do I have to have
And
a bag to join, or is that
so the
not
people with the bag
necessary?
has like a discount, so you can still join, and it's like an added incentive. When you
Yeah.
go there, and it's cheaper. The things are cheaper there. Yeah.
What have you learned in doing that? Because
Mm,
for many years I worked with Red Bull, for example, and I looked at
mm,
how they built tribes around fizzy water effectively. That's
mm,
all it
mm.
is. And yet, really that's not what they're selling. They're selling the community they're building around the product. I mean, you don't have to drink Red Bull to go to any of the events, but they've been very
Mm,
good at building these communities. For
mm,
you, what is working? Obviously you're creating these offline events and you're speaking to people who obviously have something missing, or they want to connect to something that doesn't exist already. It's not about the bag, it's
yeah.
something bigger. What are you discovering in this journey about that community that you're tapping into?
Um, I think the community that something. Hmm.
What is the bold part all about? Is it an appetite for risk that's missing from people's lives? What is it you're doing?
Mm. I think that's one of the factors. An appetite for risk, because at the end of our sessions and stuff, we'll always have like a dinner or like something where people can share about like their boldest moments. And I think that's when people are kind of reminded of like, oh wow, I can actually chase that goal. Oh wow, like this actually happened. And seeing people beyond just that first impression, but going deeper. I
Hmm.
think people are craving that true connection, people to people, that is kind of missing in maybe their everyday lives. By coming to our
Hmm.
events, they get the chance to actually connect on a deeper emotional level. And I think that's what we want to bring to our community, to have like this
Hmm.
sense of support. Like if you are like thinking on the fence about something that you really want to go for, we want to be that community that pushes you over the fence and like fuck yeah, just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I know a lot of people say that young people today are digitally native, but the reality is we still live in the offline world.
Mm,
So I think
mm,
particularly for young people as well, they crave these connections. I mean, that's why
mm.
you see young people hanging out at Starbucks of all places, right? Because they
Yeah.
want places to hang out. They don't have the social space that you're giving them, right?
Mm,
And it's
mm,
interesting that you're building it around a product. I'm wondering how scalable this is. I mean, do you have
mm,
plans that, I mean, obviously you've got fans outside of Singapore. So
mm,
what are your plans? Before we talk about Anchor and the shirt that we're going to introduce in
yeah.
a minute, what's your situation now with your
Mm.
tribe across the world? Who do you have out there? What kind of people, and do you have any plans to take it global?
Yeah, definitely. So Singapore is kind of like our test bed into what work and what doesn't. So for example, we started implementing since the COVID thing, a weekly IG bullshit chats where every Saturday at 11:30 a.m. we will go live and like talk to our people and like find out what they think about our products, etc., or like just getting feedback. And then moving on from that, we actually tried to do a similar thing in Thailand. So we actually do have a Thailand team where it's just a small team there, just a couple of people, but replicating the live event and finding out, connecting the people over there, and from there we kind of replicated what worked in Singapore, which was like the product demos and all that over there, and it kind of worked as well. So I think that's something that we are gonna explore more in other countries,
Mm,
especially the countries that we have a bigger user base in. Mm.
mm. Have you got a
Mm-mm.
clear idea of who your avatar is, who your
Mm.
buyer is? Because, I mean, for
Mm.
example, young people who crave adventure, that's a very big market.
Yeah.
Is it something within that? Is it a subset of that? In particular, the values that they may have about Be Bold and your products?
Mm. So these people are usually office workers. They are usually 25 to about 35 years old or 40 years old. Male, female, the same, but they are actually people who are in sports groups, people who go for marathons, who travel overseas for runcations, and
Mm,
then people who kind of travel for business quite often as well. So these are the kind of group of people that respond the most positive to our products. Mm.
mm. And do you have partnerships in that market? Because I imagine there's
Mm.
a lot of very identifiable brands and communities you can plug into, right?
Yeah, we do actually. So we are actually partnering up with Southeast Asia's biggest gym franchise, Fitness First. So we would be launching our collaboration with them later this year. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's something really, really exciting. Mm.
What about, I mean, you mentioned, for example, extreme sports. I mean, you've mentioned, I
Mm.
wouldn't say extreme sports like marathons, for example. They're not really extreme, but
Mm.
they're probably more niche. Do
Yeah.
you have any partnerships in there? Because I imagine a gym franchise is great because it's mass market.
Mm.
Within that
Mm.
mass market, there are more niches, for example, like marathons. The people who do spend a lot of money
Yeah.
on
And
endurance
triathletes and
sports.
everything,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
We do with like Stanchart Marathon. So that we have got a collaboration with them for over 2 years now. So every year when they exhibit in Singapore, we'll be one of the main vendors over there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Great, good. Let's talk about your shirts,
Mm,
Anchor. What's the idea here? We can
mm.
have a look at it on the pitch deck just so we can see. I don't know if you've got one with you.
I do
Is it,
actually.
are you good? You want to hold it up
Yeah,
for the camera
sure.
so can we have a look? What have we
Right. So
got?
this is the shirt. You can see it's a prototype that we have so far. Everything is like waiting for the launch itself. Um, so this is the shirt itself. It's a t-shirt that is polyester, but it has like some of the coolest tech features that I think you'll be astonished to find out. Yeah.
Surprise
So,
me. What
all
what
right.
what does it have that makes it
Okay.
any different?
So looks like a normal shirt, right? But let's say like if you're drinking water, I drink water and then
Are you doing a demo?
yeah,
Okay.
and then your kid decides, like, Daddy, oh my God, look at this shit. And it's like, oh shit. So it's like you can see that when I don't know if you can see. I can see that when you pour water over it,
All right, she's pouring water over it for those that are
yeah,
listening. Okay.
you can see that the water slips right through.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't leave anything on the fabric itself.
Mm-hmm.
And to show you a little bit more is that let me see. Whoops. Is that
See, water gets spilled all the time.
yes, water gets spilled all the time, and you can see the water being trapped over here.
Oh. What's the material that you use in that?
It's actually polyester that we're using over here, but
Yeah.
we actually do it with some sort of treatment
Yeah,
such
I
that it
imagine.
actually repels water. And not only water, I'm talking about like if you're wearing this white shirt and then you're having wine with your friends, and even if you spill wine on it, nothing gets attached. So it's actually stain resistant as well. So
Yeah.
you can finally go for that date without having that awkward food stain on your shirt itself.
Well,
So
what
that's
would
one
be
of the things.
I mean, what would
Yeah.
be, this is not a sports shirt then, I guess, or I mean, what's the purpose?
Mm.
Because I'm not sure, what's the benefit of having water repellent? I thought it should be water, like wicking at least.
Absorbing and all that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So the cool thing about this is that on the inside it's actually like moisture wicking. So it actually evaporates the water, but on the outside it's actually water repellent.
Hmm.
So it performs dual function. There's two function for it. And
Okay.
then um, this is something that actually we have been thinking about for the past 2 years of like what can we do to t-shirts, because we believe that the current t-shirts, the one that we are wearing every single day, is really basic and something that has existed for over 10, 20 years. So what can we bring to the table that can really change how we look at t-shirts and how we wear t-shirts? Bringing to the same point of multiple activities in a day. We want the shirt to be able to accompany you for like your gym sessions, all the way to like your business meetings if you're working like in a casual work environment, or is it like dress down Sundays? I mean dress down Fridays and stuff like that. That's one
Are
of
you
the
gonna
things.
wear? Are you gonna wear that to the gym, then take it to the office? Surely that's
Well, it's
gonna
anti-odor.
smell, isn't it? It's gonna be.
Oh,
What?
so that's the good thing we thought about. So wouldn't it smell? That was a question. And then we thought about it. And we actually made it like antibacterial. So it means that you don't have to wash the shirt every single day. This is not really like good. This is good news for people who don't like to do laundry, aka me. Instead
Who
of
does?
washing it every single day, you just have to wash it every 3 days, 5 days, and only because you feel it's dirty.
Mm.
So firstly, it doesn't retain any smell. It doesn't retain any odor. It doesn't retain any water or any stains. So it looks fresh every single day. So that's one good thing. It's good for the environment as well. It's good for our us lazy people. But
How
the
many
coolest
days can
thing
you get
is,
out of it before it becomes too much? Have you tested it
um,
to
I would
destruction before you need to actually wash the thing?
yeah. So I would say a good 5 days would be good.
5 days.
Yeah, five
My word.
days. I kid you not. I'm gonna send you a sample, and then you're gonna try it for 5 days,
All
and
right.
you're gonna thank me after.
Okay. Okay. Challenge accepted. I think that'd be
Yeah,
pretty cool for travel, though, wouldn't it? I mean, I can
yeah,
imagine traveling is a real issue. It's not like they don't want to wash; it's that they can't sometimes, like, or
exactly,
it's just,
exactly.
sometimes you don't have access to a full wardrobe when you're traveling. So sometimes,
Mm,
you're
mm.
stuck, right? You need an all-in-one that I can take to the gym and I can wear it out,
Yeah,
well, if I
exactly.
need to, right? Okay,
And
so how much sort of user feedback did you get on that before you designed this and you're going to take it to Kickstarter? How did you
mm,
actually test something like that? Road test it
um,
or user test it?
yeah. So we did have this idea about 2 years ago, and then we did about I think we did more than like 200, 300 people to kind of like give feedback about what is the ideal shirt they want. And we actually observed a lot of different Kickstarter campaigns as well into like what other features they provide. And in the comment section, what people really wanted out of the
Mm,
shirts itself. So I think that's one of the channels that people can use actually, feedback and comment sections on like competitors. Yeah, because that's where they voice out all their pain points about what they don't like about the competitor's shirt. And that's where we kind of took a little bit of inspiration as well. And that's why you can actually see that a lot of the shirt that we have, it looks really, really plain, because a lot of people are like, I don't like the big logo splash across because I
mm.
can't wear it to like, outside. It looks really kiddish. And something super cool. Still a bag company, right? We are thinking for the shirt, how can we make this shirt a bag? So what I mean by this, um, for the shirt itself, we actually have a secret pouch at the shirt itself so that you can actually store your phone, not your phone, your coins or your cards, or even like your earpiece when you're out running, because you always forget that $2, especially if you're going out for like a 10 km run and you decide
Mm.
at 4 km that shit, I'm gonna take a cab home. At least you've got some spare money here, instead of like forgetting to bring that $10 note. So this comes in really handy for that.
Where's the
And
where's the pocket? Is it on the inside?
yeah, so surprisingly, you can't see it on the outside. On the outside,
Mm,
it looks like a normal shirt, right?
mm, mm.
But when we flip it on the inside, you can actually see here, it has a pocket.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so this pocket, you can actually put like, so this pocket here, not sure if you can see.
Yeah, I see. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite a big pocket.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so you can
Is
actually
that
put
by the
in,
waist? I can't really see it. Is that sort of waist level?
yeah. So it's right at the bottom of the shirt itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the waist level.
Mm.
And it actually has a dual function. So remember, like we are talking about like multifunctional, right? So multifunctionality means that you can actually use this shirt for traveling, and you can pack it. So normally, like when you go for traveling, right, you'll like roll your shirts up because you want to save space, correct?
Mm.
So we thought about that. Yeah, rolling is great, but what can we do further? The problem with rolling, right, is that you always, when you roll it up and you take it out, the shirt will unfurl, and then you have like a mess in your luggage. So this shirt can actually fold into itself so that you can actually keep everything organized while keeping it the same size as your iPhone. So I'm gonna show you how it works. Give me a minute.
Yeah, yeah. Right, it's a
Yeah.
live demo. You're going to pack this shirt into the
Yes, we're gonna
size of an iPhone.
yeah, into the size of an iPhone. So that's something that we haven't seen in the shirt that we have seen out there, because a lot of people, you know, like when they design something, they just want to tweak one or two things,
Yeah.
and we didn't want to do that. For us, like our design philosophy is that it needs to contain this both element, the whole Be Bold mantra, right? Remember?
Mm.
So it needs to have a world's first in a sense, and that's where we thought of like what can we do in our design, and that's where we thought of this. Hang on. So I'm gonna do a live demo of the shirt packing itself. I'm not really gonna do a good job of it because I'm like a little bit nervous.
That's right. You've done this before. It's not like one of those fold-up tents that you can't do a live demo on. It's not that difficult, surely.
Yeah. It's not. Right. So but that's why we actually took like 2 years with the shirt itself, even though
Yeah.
we could have launched it like 2 years ago. But we just felt it was missing something. And during this COVID period, our team had more time because at this period of time, nobody really wants to buy bags, right? No one's
Mm.
going out.
Mm.
And that's where we actually concentrated our attention and focus to creating new products. And that's when the shirt, we looked at the shirt and thought, what can we make it better? Yeah, so that's how the idea of Anchor came about actually. So 2 years works in progress until the point where, you know, decided that it was ready. Yeah.
You can put like a house key, like an electronic key in there.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sure it's
can.
like big enough. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
useful, isn't it? If you're out running, or
Yeah.
even if you're going for like a 10K run,
Mm,
where do you store that stuff? You don't really have
exactly.
a lot of options, do you?
Unless you bring like the running band,
Yeah,
which
no.
after a while you'll just loosen, right?
You look amateur with one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. So with this, like, okay, so basically I'm gonna bring my iPhone here. Where's my phone? See, like the
It was
problem is
ringing
that
earlier.
yeah. Where's my phone? Oh, it's in the bag. Not showing that
Well,
thing.
you can hold up to the camera and show us, and I'll validate whether or not it's iPhone size.
All right. So this is
As
the
an
size of an
independent,
iPhone.
you're
The
right.
size of
It's
an iPhone,
definitely an
right?
iPhone.
Yeah, and this is like
Oh,
the
there you
shirt
go.
itself.
There you go. Pretty good job.
Yeah. So you
Folded
can see
into
that.
one.
Yeah, you can see that it actually is the kind of the same size
Yeah.
as the shirt itself, and it's the same size if you roll it up. The best thing about it is that it doesn't unfold itself, so you can keep everything organized over
Very
here.
good.
So that's one of the
Excellent.
main features that we have.
It's
And
nice. I like it.
I'll send you a shirt.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. I like it. So tell me about the Kickstarter campaign that's going to go with this. What's the plan and how are
Mm.
you going to ace your previous results?
This time around, I think instead of concentrating on Singapore, we're actually reaching out to the global market, especially like US people, UK. And the reason is because we found that a lot of people, more than 40% of the people on Kickstarter, are actually from the United States.
Mm.
And that's where we're gonna like target most of our pre-launch marketing to, and we are. This time around, previously we were focused more on Asia, like in Singapore, where we're kind of comfortable and we know that people will kind of like it. But this time around, we're going to stretch a little bit and see whether it will work well with like people from the other side of the world. Yeah. And I
Mm.
think another one is also sending for reviews. So we're actually connecting with a lot of like influencers who are based overseas and letting them try it. Especially like something that was really surprising was that when someone was saying that this shirt is really good for snowing. So I'm like, huh, what? Because in Singapore we don't get snow, right?
Yeah,
But
never.
yeah, so like this Korean girl was telling me that in Korea they wear multiple layers, so they have an inner shirt
Mm.
that is usually polyester and not cotton. And I'm wondering like why? Why would you wear like cotton is definitely more comfortable, right? But polyester, she said like it doesn't really absorb the sweat, it doesn't smell, and that's why people wear it. And that's why I think like this shirt, I think a crowd that we'll be targeting will be people who hate the winter and people
Mm.
who have to like wear multiple layers that I didn't expect, you know, some insights that I got from
That is
doing
interesting,
this.
isn't it? Yeah, and you
Yeah.
wonder like how people actually use it. And you only know, like you say, I mean, if you are only experiencing Singaporean customers, you
Mm,
really are
mm.
missing out on potential applications, right?
Yeah,
It's
the
maybe
two other
actually getting it
seasons,
out
right?
there in, yeah,
Yeah,
people's hands, right? It'd be
yeah.
interesting to see what happens when you take it to the US as well, especially on the distributor side, like what
Mm,
the
mm,
pickup is there. And you've also got a lot of options there with subcultures and niches to tap into, right?
mm,
You know, like
mm.
fan bases potentially.
Yeah,
You know,
we
the
do.
sports scene is huge there. The lifestyle scene's endless. really,
Mm.
but the competition as well is going to be really tough.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's going to be interesting for you. So when does your Kickstarter campaign launch?
7th of July.
Fantastic.
So yeah, 7th of July. We'll be launching at Singapore time 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
8 p.m. So
we'll put all the
hopefully
details
things go
out there,
well.
but I guess also
Yeah.
you'd be interested in talking to people who maybe are distributors
Yeah,
who,
definitely.
yeah, I mean, this is probably more geared towards them, this conversation, as
Mm.
well as your fans as well. What would you like to say to those potential retailers or people who have distribution channels about this product and what has worked in the past for you, and particularly what the pitch to them is and why they should think about this?
Um, I think firstly it's the product itself is something that you can't really find in the market. So by distributing it, you're gonna be the world's first in terms of the retail, in terms of like having that first mover advantage. I think secondly is like because it's backed by Kickstarter, so in the branding of like the innovative products is already there. So it's really easy for distribution because a lot of people globally already identify with Kickstarter as like the crowdfunding platform for innovative products. And I would say definitely check out our results on Kickstarter. So that's something that you can use as a gauge to see how well the sales can be for your country.
Mm, mm. Are
Yeah,
you going to put
yeah.
a number on it? What's your target? I mean, you don't want to curse yourself or set the bar too high or too low. Do you have an
Yeah,
idea in mind? Are you
we
going to share
do.
with it? You're not going to share.
Okay, I'm gonna share. So I
Be
would say
bold. Come on.
so the minimum goal that we are aiming for really for us to hit the minimum order quantity and like to get the best price for our people is definitely 100K.
Mm,
So that's about 25% increase from the previous time. But the stretch goal for us is about 250K, which is a
mm.
$250,000. So that's when we can really provide the best prices for people to give people a lot of options when it comes to choosing their stuff. And we're gonna have a few add-ons for people as well, other than the shirt itself.
Yeah, I think a big
Yeah.
part of that, isn't it, is the bonuses and the extras that people get when they
Yeah,
buy
definitely.
more quantity. What kind of things
Mm.
are you going to surprise us with for that? What can you share some of the extras? What do they get? Do they get to go to one of your surprise yoga events or something like that? Or what?
Yeah, I can provide that for them. Another one I think would be can I say it? It's
Signed?
something that they would use every single day as well, right? And they can't get it easily in the market. Yeah. At least for like the properties that we are promoting. So the shirt itself and like the thing that we're gonna bring out for the add-on, it's actually gonna be antiviral as well.
Mm,
So that means that the viruses that we are so afraid of can't stick on the shirt and the fabric itself. Yeah. So we're gonna bring that out.
great.
Mm,
And then once you've cracked your 250,000 and you're on to bigger and better things, what's the plan? Where do you see this going? Do
mm.
you have a vision for Be Bold and for Bow? What's the global plan? Do you have one, or is it just to keep making better and better products? Or do you have a particular
Mm, mm,
story that you want to share?
mm. Um, I think the ultimate vision is actually to build like a lifestyle company that when people look at it, they get reminded of, to be bold and take that leap of faith. To have that international bold tribe to support each other in our own dream building. I think that's the ultimate goal of where we want to be. What we produce, I think bags, shirts, it doesn't really matter. All of them are just constant reminders for people to be bold and yeah, to get out of your comfort zone, to get more
Mm,
out of life. That's what we are really pushing for. And I would feel like the merchandise and like the things that we're selling is just like a medium for us to communicate that message.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's great. I mean, it's a big uh, ask and it's a bold plan, but that's why you're here, Mandy. I think importantly as well, for such a marketing strategy, a key part of this is you
Mm,
and your story and getting that out there. So, that, I mean, if you think about a lot of lifestyle brands, how much of it has come down to, even on the clothing side, I mean, you think about people like Patagonia, for example, and,
mm,
how much of that has come down to the founders as well and them telling their stories, because that's the most authentic way to
mm,
communicate a lifestyle brand. It's very easy to say that you are something, but that comes down to the founders and the people behind it.
Mm,
That's what people believe in. So I would hope that we see more of you out there telling your story and the Be Bold story,
mm,
really, because that is what is going to build your fan base, isn't it? Because that really is the bigger story, the bigger narrative that people are going to connect with. The products really are just a part of that.
mm, mm,
That really,
mm.
you know, especially if you think about it, that you're coming from a position where we're here in Singapore, which bold isn't normal, right?
Yeah,
You know, in the sense that it's very
exactly.
comfortable. It's a hugely successful economy. So why be bold when you can just keep your head
Be the
down and have
same,
a
right?
like where we started, like why you never took a normal job, right? So, you
Mm,
know, let's just think about that for a minute, because that's a very, you know, strong message that you put out, that you've chosen not to do that. And it'd be interesting to see how that resonates with people as well around the world. So hopefully we see more of you out there telling that story, because that's going to be probably the most authentic marketing there is for
mm,
this,
mm.
beyond simply the Kickstarter campaigns and building your fan base as well. So hopefully you'll be bold as well. Put the
Definitely.
challenge out there.
Yeah, looking forward to
Excellent.
that. Yeah.
Mandy Chan, everybody from BOW. Be bold, hashtag be bold. I'm looking forward to seeing how your Kickstarter campaign goes. We'll share all the details in the show notes. Distributors, retailers, you know where to go. What's the best channel to make contact with you and to reach out to you? What works for you? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Instagram? What is your preferred way of
Um,
communicating?
yeah, LinkedIn is great. Email is great, or just our socials. So if you can just search for us, both for bold, BOWFORBOLD, and we'll reply you within like 12 hours. If not, my CS is gonna get in trouble. Yeah, so 12
Exactly.
hours, or actually 1 hour. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for thanks for coming today and sharing your story. Wishing you all the best. I know
Thank you.
I think you've been bold. You put the targets out there as well.
Yeah,
You know, it's
for order.
not easy now. Now you
Mm,
put it out there, I think you've obviously, that's a rod for your own back now. But I think you've got to as well. You've got to be audacious. So congratulations for at least giving some. I mean, especially at such a young age, not being patronizing, but at a young age, like giving a lot of entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs of your generation a role model. You know, in a sense
hopefully.
that, yeah, definitely, I think so.
Yeah.
We need more of that. We need more people like
Mm,
of your generation stepping up and doing this. So hopefully, this is a story that will inspire them. Mandy
same
Chan,
here.
everybody, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. All right.